Hey, welcome back to Call for Wisdom. My name is Deborah, and today we're going to continue the conversation that I started about female sexuality and comparing it to what better suits us, monogamy only or polygyny, polygamy, biblical polygamy, polygyny. Now, if you're new to Call for Wisdom, I'm speaking to the sisters. I'm focusing on women. And if you are a brother, my intention is not to teach you, not to tell you anything, not to lead you. I mean, sit at the back and enjoy the show. But come forward, my sisters, come forward. We're talking about our sexuality, and the world would love to tell us a whole bunch of garbage, a lot of shaming. Although they think that, we're living in this liberal world, when I go back into social media, when I hear back into the textbooks that I studied in university, there is a lot of shaming about female sexuality. Why? Well, to me, the main problem that I observe is that somehow in our quest to be equal to Adam, Eve has forgotten that she is female. Female. We are not the male. We do not have the sex drive of a man. We will never have the capacity of a man. We do not produce sperm. We don't give anything to any woman, right? The man gives us, he feeds us. And I love my plants. You notice my plant right here. Well, this afternoon, y'all gave me an example, and I shared it with Brother Michael, but I'm sharing it with you, my sisters, right now. I just got this analogy in my head because I love my plants around my house, and I'm sure you do too. And sometimes in my happy days, I get a little bit too excited about feeding my plants and about pouring water and watering them. Now, if I look at my plant and say, I'm just going to pour water today, but just for the hell, for the fun of it, I'll give it some more water tomorrow. And the day after that, by the second day, usually, not even the third day, this plant is saturated with water and it's going to be overflowing and dripping onto my floor. It has a small pot and I have unlimited capacity of water in my house, right? Let's compare this to you and I as females, because in the Bible, Yah compares us to women like the land, and the men are the shepherds, and they are the farmers of the land. They tend the fields, and we are their field. They have seeds, and we are their ground. We are the ground that they plant the seeds, and we bear the children. And so, in tending the plant, us females, the man has a limitless amount of sperm seeds to water the plant with. It's amazing that every morning, if he's a healthy man, he generates a new set of seed and ability to fertilize. Welcome to biology. If you are a young sister under the age of 16, this episode is not for you. So go ahead and check another channel. But I'm talking to the mature grown ones, right? About sexuality. So when we are feeding our plants, and he's feeding our plant with water, us women, he does that once, and we feel satisfied, and we had enough, right? He walks around and he has a whole container full of more seed, my sisters, to fertilize. And he's reproducing it. And Yah has given him the biology, the passion, the testosterone, the hormones, the urge, the passion to relieve and to farm and to fertilize more land. But monogamy limits him to one little pot over here, one little plant with his priceless seed, like his very valuable seed. He could only tend to one plant, and that one plant has a limited capacity. That is what I'm focusing on here. Limited capacity of the pot, right? So even if he loves her very, very much and he feeds that plant once a week, that's all he can take. I mean, literally, my little plant here, sometimes he could take one full feeding for the week and a half, a little bit here and there, a little spray, but it can't take much. This is how it grows. This is the maturity that it's in right now. This is the stage in the season that it is in, and it bears fruit and it does wonderful. So I know my plant, and the husband knows it's why his wife. But when a man sees his capacity and Yah gives him the vision of polygyny, the ability to have more than one plant, to be a farmer and to tend to more than one plants at a time in the garden, in his fields, and he wants to take care of another one because he has the capacity to do so. And actually, the more he does it, the more capacity he grows, he can. As I am quite satisfied if I'm one plant here, I cannot I cannot keep up with him. And he has the ability to tend to me and tend to somebody else and feed them. Now, sexually, right? Get the metaphor, sexually and tenderly, also emotionally and intimately. He has the capacity because Yah gave men the capacity to love and care for more than one wife at a time. This is called polygyny, biblical polygyny. And when done righteously, it flourishes. When done righteously, it bears fruit. Now, what's the problem is that here comes monogamy only, prescription monogamy that has it has infestated, forgive me, I'm tongue twisted. It has blinded us all in all levels of society. University, commercials, music, media, social media, your girlfriends, you go to church, everybody sees relationships as monogamy only. And then men are not built this way. They can choose, it's their option, they can choose to, but we celebrate the fact that they are biologically farmers. They're not the plant, they're not the ones receiving any seed. They give, they water. They don't get it from me. They give, they water. And I have a limited capacity as a female. And it changes as I get older. It changes as I grow. It changes as I have children. It changes. But I have a limited capacity and he has an unlimited capacity unless he can potentially take on a lot more women. Now that's between him and Yah. I'm not speaking to the men, I'm speaking to you sisters. So what we're going to do today is that you and I are going to go through a few, just a few YouTube and TikTok content creators. One of them in particular is the Happy Wife School, and she's a counselor who gives, generally speaking, good Christian advice, not Torah-based advice, not biblical advice, but in the Christian contents of monogamy. And you can see how she's going to be fumbling over the whole female sexuality problem and making it sound like we are the problem because we women are not the farmer. And this is what I'm saying. Because we are not the farmer, we do not have the desire, the need, the capacity, nor the commission to be the farmer. God didn't give us the command like this to go and plant seeds everywhere. He didn't do that. But we are supposed to receive. And because of that mix up in the mind of monogamy only, this has caused a lot of shaming to be done on women. A lot of shaming. We are never going to be able to sexually satisfy a man by our lonesome self. Like he can choose to be one, right? But for me to say that my little container can hold all that he has capacity to fill, it's not possible. Now he can choose to just keep one, but he has the capacity to do more. And shaming me for my limited capacity as the weaker vessel is what I'm talking about. Shaming female sexuality is what I'm talking about. And you're going to hear it in so many different ways. So first, let me just show you a little bit of some TikTok content creator here. And she's going to do something here for me, okay? Let's see.
Girlfriend or wife or partner doesn't want to have sex with you anymore. How many times has she asked for you to take the rubbish out and you've forgotten? How many times have you said, we're out of eggs, or I need more aftershave, and it's magically appeared in the house the next day? Long day of work that you've both had. Who cooks your dinner? Who makes sure the house is clean? Who puts the kids to bed? Who gets everyone's lunches ready for the next day? You get my drift. The biggest killer of feminine energy is stress and having to constantly be doing things and thinking about things that need to be done. And your wife, partner, she works all day as well. But her brain doesn't switch off the moment she gets home. Women are attracted to men who lead. Women are attracted to men who help them, who help their lives be better. If you are tired at the end of the day and you sit on the couch and you wait for your dinner to be cooked and you go to bed and you turn over and you caress her thigh and expect her to just magically be in the mood, you're the problem. If you want to be having epic sex with your partner, you need to be an epic partner. And a partner means sharing responsibility, helping each other. Being a partner means taking some of the cognitive load, making decisions for her, actually helping with the household chores, and being reliable enough so that she can actually count on you to do it consistently. This is your life together. You need to take some of the responsibility, and this shouldn't be done just to get her in bed. This should be done because you care about her, because you want to make her life better, and because you realize that she's been taking more of the load than you have, and now it's your time to step up. And I guarantee once you do those things, not only will she want to have sex with you, but she will also respond to you better. She won't snap at you when you ask to do something. She won't be reactive to you. She will actually be a lot calmer, a lot more flirtatious, and a lot more in her feminine energy, which is what you want from her. Anyway, I'll tell you why your girlfriend or wife or partner doesn't want to have sex with you anymore.
Okay, so I wanted to start with that because we women are used to having a lot of content about why, justifying why we don't want to have sex with our men anymore, and it's usually the man's fault, right? Usually we blame he wasn't, like she said, he wasn't giving enough attention, he wasn't taking out the trash, he wasn't pandering to our needs because of course we are in control, right? Feminism has told us we're in control. So because of that, we now say, well, I'm not interested in having sex with the man anymore because he's not doing X, Y, and Z. I feel that my sexual desire for him has gone down. So in my mind, I'm recalling all the stories that I heard in the past, and it must be the man's fault. So I'm going to blame him, right, for not meeting my needs somehow, and therefore that's why I lost sexual attraction, right? So even what she's saying here, it has already perverted female sexuality. It has downgraded it to the fact that we can have sex with the husband at the same level as he wants, but only if he meets a certain criteria for us. Okay? So the next one I'm going to tell you here, show you, is a little bit different. And this one is with Karen from Happy Wife School. So she goes into it a little bit differently. And she's going to talk about is it lying to you about sex and marriage? Like 5 myths good men need to know about their wives and sex. Now, I'll send you a link about the episode. You can watch the full episode. But right now, we're just going to go about the 5 myths that she's going to tell men. And she's speaking to men. Now, I'm not speaking to men. I'm speaking to you sisters, okay? And in speaking to your sisters, I want you to put on your ears and listen to the shaming that is going on about your sexuality and how it is being questioned. Okay? And I'll stop and pause. So here we go.
And this is to break out of the crazy making that good men fall into, thinking there is something that they can do to re-engage their wives in sex and get her interested again when she is shut down to sex. This is for good men to break out of that, to see the truth. So again, you can take back the power you've given away in your marriage to your wife in the area of sex. So the first myth.
Okay, so
Number one.
Okay, pause for 1 second. Let's see.
Your wife.
She's talking to men saying you can take back your power when it comes to sex. And if you're not having enough sex with your wife, this is what she's going to say is the problem. 5 things, okay? And okay, sisters, it's all about you and I. So here we go.
Had sex with you because she enjoyed sex and loved you. Interested again when she is shut down to sex. This is for good men to break out of that, to see the truth. So again, you can take back the power you've given away in your marriage to your wife in the area of sex. So the first myth, number one, your wife had sex with you because she enjoyed sex and loved you. The truth and reality is that it was a tool to get you in the marriage. And now that she has you and has the marriage and has the kids, there's no reason for her to follow through, which is why you hear the excuses from your wife. Oh, I'm just not feeling well, or I have a headache, or I'm just really tired. I'm not in the mood, or, oh, it's not the right time of day. You didn't initiate at the right time, or it's my hormones, or it's this trauma I had that you never even knew about that now is creeping its head up, and that's why I can't have sex. And that's where the excuses come from.
Okay, I actually want to hear that again. Now, I don't agree with her. Okay. She says that we women, we are using sex as a tool to get men to marry us. Okay. This is what she just said. Now, biblically speaking, biblically, sex is supposed to be reserved for the marriage bed in the first place, not a tool to get married. So I was a virgin the first time, and when I got sex and got married, and it was all cool. Okay, little personal note about me. The whole point is that virgins were supposed to get in there and have sex on their wedding night, on the day they got married and committed to. That was it. It wasn't a tool or a ploy. Now we're doing it like that, but that's not the way it was intended in Yah's book in the Bible, right? You're supposed to stay with your husband, with your father, and your father gives you over to your husband, who, with his blessing and permission, takes you, commits to you. He takes you to his home. There's no state marriage license required, and you consummate the marriage through sex, right? Now, what does a virgin know about sex? Doesn't matter if it's great. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. She is a virgin. She knows jack squat, right? About sex. Now we're blaming women again for using our sexual powers to draw a man into commitment with some kind of, really, really creamy milk from the cow. And then he says, oh, I love the creamy milk from the cow so much that I'm going to buy the cow. And she says this is a trick that women intentionally do. We offer this creamy milk, and then the man says, oh, I want to buy the cow. And so he buys the cow. You're married, and now all of a sudden you stop producing milk. And she says this is a trick. So we're like con artists. So she's criticizing our sexuality as being a trick. I'm going to tell you that's not true. A lot of women, and if you did it the biblical way without even being a virgin, you don't know anything about sex when you get into marriage anyway. You're supposed to be groomed and trained by the husband with more experience, learning with him as he tends to you like a farmer. You will learn how to mold around him and get better at it, or and to please him as it is. That's his business, but he will get better, or maybe not, but it's not a tool. It's just that we're not designed to desire sex the same way that a man is designed to do it. Okay? We do want to reproduce. We do want intimacy. We do like sex, but not to the same capacity as a healthy male. And that is my point. So when a man is disappointed, like, oh, I was getting lots and lots of sex before marriage, before I committed to her, and all of a sudden I committed to her and she's not giving me that kind of passion. Oh, she tricked me. Oh, she fails me because now the milk isn't so creamy anymore. Now it's boring, stale milk, yesterday's milk. Oh, she tricks me because she pretended to have the sexual ability to keep up with me. And now I'm realizing she can't keep up with me. So I am very disappointed. And this is what I'm hearing here. I'm going to listen to it one more time so you can tell me if I am wrong. Okay.
There is something that they can do to re-engage their wives in sex and get her interested again when she is shut down to sex. This is for good men to break out of that, to see the truth. So again, you can take back the power you've given away in your marriage to your wife in the area of sex. So the first myth, number 1, your wife had sex with you because she enjoyed sex and loved you. The truth and reality is that it was a tool to get you in the marriage. And now that she has you and has the marriage and has the kids, there's no reason for her to follow through, which is why you hear the excuses from your wife.
So you hear that? So she first had sex with you because she loved you and she desired you, but now that you committed to her as the man, as now that the man committed to her, she's no longer interested in you because you've already given her the marriage and the kids. And again, now we're going to shame women. Shame on you, women, for not being sexually capable of maintaining the level that you started with. Shame, 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 shame on you, women. And even to the point where I'm going to tell you, you didn't love me, which is not true. It is not true. Now, is it the woman's primary need to get into a marriage? Absolutely. To get into a committed relationship? Yes. That is the primary need of a woman, not for sex. The primary need of the woman is to get shelter, to be covered. So her desire to be covered and to get married and to bear children was her prime directive. Absolutely. Why are you shaming us for what Yah has created us for? Okay. And so we want to be with Adam. We were created to multiply with Adam, to bear children for Adam. But were we created to water the whole garden with Adam's seed? No, we were not. That is not that is not something that we trick Adam into. He has a capacity to have multiple, right? He feeds into you, you bear his children, and there's a point where a woman has a limited capacity and she will pull away, especially after having children, and she has the hormones and she has monthlies. And go back to my last episode about sexuality and polygyny and how it is actually more compassionate towards women than monogamy is, because this is hardcore monogamy. This is the shaming of, if you can't keep up with the man's sexual needs, you didn't love him, you just conned him into marrying you, you don't deserve to be married because you are not good enough in bed. And I'm asking myself, well, I am not a 304. This is not the reason why I got into the relationship. It wasn't for more sex. It was for covering, and thank you for covering me as a husband, right? Yeah, yeah, gave you a husband. But was that the drive? This is what you wanted, right? And this is what you needed. And this is why you moved from your father's house to your husband's house. She's saying it's a myth. I'm saying no. It's not a con myth. This is what women do. This is what we're biologically set to do. Okay? Continuing, myth number 2.
Wife, oh, I'm just not feeling well, or I have a headache, or I'm just really tired.
And she could be tired and not feeling well and have a headache and be sexually abused. Why are we shaming women for our flaws and for our trauma? It is all possible and all very valid. The problem is that you're relying on this one little plant, this one little wife, to meet all the sexual needs of this man who has the capacity to have more. You want to squeeze it, all this responsibility, and now criticize her for saying, oh my goodness, I can't do it.
Not in the mood, or oh, it's not the right time of day, you didn't initiate at the right time, or it's my hormones, or it's this trauma I had that you never even knew about that now is creeping its head up, and that's why I can't have sex. And that's where the excuses come from. There's no character and integrity in how we misrepresent ourselves as women in the beginning to enjoy and have a lot of sex to get the marriage, or
So see, again, it's like a con thing. She says that women are misrepresentative ourselves. We are conning men. We have no character. We have no morals. I'm not criticizing her in general, but I'm just saying that, and this is fair use. This is the mentality of the world when we come to monogamy. And this is even in the Christian world when it comes to monogamy. You're all so bad women for not having the capacity to enjoy sex as much as a man, that Yah made with the desire to have lots of it. I'm not a man. I'm not Adam. I'm not jealous of him. I can't compete with him. I can't keep up with him. I can just receive what I can receive in my little pot as the farmer passes by with his water. And then, I'm satisfied. Thank you very much. Thank you for covering me. Thank you for feeding me. Thank you for tending to me, Farmer Joe. And then Farmer Joe can go down to the other pots, the other women of the other plants on the field, and go take care of them, right? And everybody's happy. But in monogamy, I have to be everything for this one man. And then you're going to shame me and say, oh, it was a bait and switch. And oh, you're not good enough. And oh, you don't have moral character because something has changed. And I'm going to talk about the things that changed. And You can go back to the last episode about sexuality and why polygyny is so better suited for us than monogamy. The problem is the form of marriage. This is my opinion, but also biblically an option that we're not exploring. It's a form of marriage. I don't fit into this box called monogamy. My sexuality does not fit into it. And we need to stand up as women and say, hey, this is not good. It's not working out. Stop shaming me.
Misrepresenting ourselves because, again, we're using it as a tool to get you in the marriage. And there's no character and integrity in misrepresenting ourselves. So, of course, there's no character and integrity to follow through after marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sham.
It's not a sham.
The second myth good men need to know about their wives and sex. Number 2, you are the problem of why your wife doesn't want to have sex with you. And there is something you can do to make her have sex with you and be more attracted to you and desire you. But the truth is, there's nothing you could have done or can do because she wasn't interested in the first place.
Okay, here the second myth. That, okay, it's true. A lot of times we blame the woman, we blame the husband and say it's his fault, right? You're not doing X, Y, and Z. Like the TikToker said, you're not taking out the trash. You're not taking me out for dinner. You're not talking to me softly enough. You're not giving me hugs. You are the fault. There's something that you are not doing as a husband, as your husband's not doing. That's why you don't want sex with him. That's a myth. I would agree with her, and that's true because there's nothing that he's doing wrong. But I'm going to go back again and say the issue, the elephant in the room, is the fact that you want all this from, again, one source called a woman. And one woman cannot meet your capacity, right? So the problem is not the husband. The problem is not the woman. Let's check out the institution. Let's check out the box we're trying to put both of you all in, both of us in. This is not working for the man. It's not working for the females either.
So it's not a limitation or shortcoming on you in the bedroom.
That's the man.
And it's important that you know that so you don't get wrapped up with the different influencers and the Christian and manosphere dogma that says it's you that needs to be more desirable and attractive. Or different strategies you need to use. Some of the popular ones I've heard are learning to have game in your marriage or creating polarity.
Okay, so now she's going to move into telling men what to do and how to do it. I'm just going to stay out of that one, right? I'm just going to say to my sisters, focus, 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 sisters. We're just talking to you. It's not the man's fault. He can't do anything about it either. Just stop blaming him for the fact that you're not as big of a capacity to keep up with him. Stop blaming him. He was made to be different than you. He was made to be the farmer. You are the field. Okay? It's not his fault. So stop blaming him. Now, how he sorts out his game and whatever he plays, stay out of it. It's a man's world. I'll leave it to the other brothers to counsel men, especially my cover, Mike Allen, and digging in the word. You brothers over there, go there, and Pete Rambo, and there's Jeremy. There's so many other Torah believing brothers who are part of the community of Yah-fearing patriarchal men who are encouraging men to lead in a Yah-fearing way, in a righteous way, in a biblical way, how to practice polygyny and also if you choose to be monogamous, but this is not my calling to teach men, okay? So I'm going to stay out of that. And I encourage you sisters to stay out of it as well. We are not actually called to teach men, but I'm encouraging to love your husbands. And how you love your husbands, according to Titus, is my command from Paul. Paul commanded me to do that as an elderly woman in the faith, is to stop blaming your husbands for your sexuality and start looking with beauty at how y'all made him and look at you, how different you are, and start praising the Most High for our differences and saying, okay, let me consider now the real issue is the deception, the doctrines of demons that are limiting me and making me think that monogamy is the only way of practicing righteous relationship in the Bible. And let me free up my husband to have more women by not criticizing him, by not judging him, by not shaming him and calling him a cheater and all those wicked words when he shows interest in taking on another wife. Because I'm quite satisfied with being fed once a week. My plant here is quite happy with me and it's quite satisfied. Even if I wanted to feed it more, it cannot keep it. It's going to run over. I'll kill it, right? So I'm going to allow my husband to do his thing without criticizing it. I'm going to love him for the differences. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. So moving on, let's go.
Good men don't have game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not natural to a good man to have game and use these tips and strategies. The men I have talked to, it's very awkward. It's very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm playing a game with my wife. And their experiences when they try to do the things to have game in their marriage, most times their wife, what are you doing? Don't do that. What are you doing? And it doesn't work. And then good men end up feeling completely defeated. The third myth that good men need to know about their wives and sex, number 3, sex is supposed to be spontaneous and passionate. Here's the truth. Women hate spontaneity. Women hate spontaneity. We become so rigid and need to have a firm grasp of control on our experience at all times. And this just gets worse and worse and worse and worse as we get older. And if we don't have a way to work on it and overcome those patterns, we just get more controlling, more rigid, and we hate spontaneity.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it like this because it is all about control, right? And I won't totally disagree with her because if you are a manipulative, controlling woman, you don't like spontaneity because you don't know what's coming up. And so when a man who is the head over you says, we're going left or we're doing right, or this is my master bedroom, you can't kick me out. I want to hug with you tonight. I want you in my bed tonight. He's being spontaneous because he's the leader. You didn't see coming. You might not like it because you lost control, like she says, and we like to be in control. So should the man pander to a controlling woman? Again, I'm not speaking to the men. I'm speaking to you, sisters. Do you want to be a controlling woman in the bedroom as well? And then again, she says that women hate it when the man says, I want to be spontaneously close to you. I want sex with you. I want to be intimate with you. He's leading the way, which is he's supposed to do. And actually, when you fall into your submissive, gentle spirit, it becomes extremely attractive for a man to take control. And we know that. Come on, let's just take out the feminist goggles and this blinding our head with monogamy. Take out the brainwashing. Settle into, you remember 50 Shades of Grey? I've never watched it. But the whole domineering over the top garbage is the fact that females love this movie and love this book because a man was taking control. The man was saying what he wanted and took it, right? He was leading. And this is what we find attractive. I don't care what they say. Let's look at what women watch in erotica. Look what women watch in books and read. It's always about the damsel in distress and the man that took control. And I really couldn't stop him because he was in control. We find it attractive when we fall into our submissive, gentle self. But when we want to be the boss and be domineering over him and control his sexuality and limiting him to us only, then we have a power. And then I don't want him to be spontaneous. No, I want to tell him that on next week, Friday at 5 o'clock, that's when we're having sex. And by the time I get there, you better have done the dishes. You better have hugged me a couple of times. You better have sent me a couple love letters and a song. You better have been listening to all my complaining without even once suggesting any kind of solution, and showed me that you're emotionally connected to me. And then maybe when that day comes, if I don't have a headache and I'm not on my menstruals, I might give it to you because I don't want spontaneity. I want to be in control. And see, the fight there is, again, the dominancy. And so my sisters, let's not be like that, right? But she is right. Some women want to be in control and they hate spontaneity. But some women, and this is hopefully you, love to submit and enjoy submitting. And when we get the when the man desires us, it turns us on because he spontaneously wants us. Oh, that makes me feel special. And especially in a polygynous relationship, when I know he has many other women to feed, and he sees that my soul is dry, and he comes and waters it spontaneously, I'm okay with that. There's no time limit. It's available, it's a turn on. So I don't think this can be applied broadly for all women. And some of us are growing up in the faith and we're learning that submission is a beautiful thing as a woman. Okay?
It catches us off guard. And then in regards to sex, thinking sex is supposed to be spontaneous in a marriage, then we have a constant anxiety of when is it going to happen? Oh, he just came up and hugged me from behind. Does that mean we're going to have sex now? And we get totally wrapped up in that anxiety and worry of when it is going to happen. So if your wife is telling you, I want it to be spontaneous or it needs to be more passionate, it's just another excuse we can throw out of why we're not having sex or why we're disinterested in it and what our husbands need to do to change to make us want to have it. And then in regards to passion, we can't be genuinely passionate in the bedroom because we aren't passionate about sex.
Okay, I think you need to qualify that. Is that true, my sisters, that we are not passionate about sex? Or is it more true that monogamy only has killed sex drive for women? The monogamy only prescription, monogamy only box has insulted female sexuality to the point where we are no longer passionate about it because the man is begging us for it. I'm no longer looking up and admiring and desiring him because he has all these options of all these other women. And when I was just seeing him and before he committed to me, I would definitely long for him sexually. And you shouldn't have had sex before marriage, okay? But yeah, so you have that passion for him, indeed. And in monogamy, it locks it down so that now that is killed because now he is now the one coming down to you, begging you. He has no other place to go. You're the only restaurant that's open. You're the only one that he's allowed to eat on. You're not the only one open, but he's the only one he's allowed to feed on. And so now it's come to your head that he's always there. Like he's always there. I'm not interested. I'm getting him all the time begging me. I have a limited capacity, right? My plant can't take any more. And if you're talking about a restaurant analogy, like I used the last time, I have a limited amount of things on my menu that I can give him, right? And once he ate it up yesterday, I have to replenish myself to restock to feed him again, right? And so I can't meet up with the man's desire and his capacity, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But in polygyny, he can move on to another woman, his another Isha, another wife, and seek to release himself and have intimacy with other women in his household and enjoy that and leaving me to enjoy what I can give. You're right, whatever it is. Maybe it's just a hug, a cuddle, a compassion, and when that genuinely dries up, because we go through waves, we know that we have biologically proven that women go through cycles, right? Our hormonal cycles when one time where our libido is really high and then it goes down based on our hormonal fluctuations. It's not trickery. There's no reason to shame a woman about that. I'm not trying to con him. I'm not trying to deprive him. But if you give the woman the power of monogamy only, oh my goodness, he loses interest. She loses interest in sex a lot quicker because now you are his only source of sexual release. At least you think so in monogamy. And you have this power. Now you can turn him down. Now he can beg, and the more he begs, the more you're not sexually attracted to him. The more he has to beg, the less, ooh, it gets it's disgusting, right? Because you want to be the one admiring him. You want to be the one chasing him. You want to be the one craving him. You want to be the one longing for the hug. You want to be the one longing for sex with him. That's what maintains the arousal. But monogamy is killing female sexual passion. Our femininity, our sexuality is being insulted by the limitations of monogamy. Now, not all women, okay, not all women are going to feel the same way as I do, but it's not even up to you, my sisters, it's up to the man whether or not he's going to follow biblical marriage and choose to take up another woman. But even having that as an option turns me on. Even knowing that my husband has the potential to take on more than one woman, that I'm not the only option that he has, I lose the power. I become more humble. I have the humility of accepting what I can get from him and enjoy the satisfaction that it gives, knowing that he has the option, if Yah provides for him, that he can do so if he wishes. And so the whole uniqueness of him stays really good. He's the unique one in the family. He's the only husband, and he has the ability to take on more. It's like building a company. I might be the first employee, but as the company grows, he has the capacity to take on more if he chooses to do so. And that keeps me growing with him, keeps me aware of that. The awareness is very good for keeping your sexual arousal, but monogamy suppresses it. All right. One more thing. Let's just continue a little bit.
We can't be passionate in the bedroom because we aren't passionate about sex.
That's not true.
It's a ruse. It's a ruse we create as women for why we don't want sex. It's not passionate anymore. But we don't have a passion for sex or even want to have it.
That's not true. A lot of women like sex and enjoy it. I think she's speaking on behalf of broken women out there, but not all women are broken sexually. And it's just because I can't be watered every day doesn't mean I don't like water. Just because I cannot keep up with a man doesn't mean that I don't like sex, right? But the pressure alone, that you have to be like a 304, that you have to keep on acting as if you love sex as much as a man, as much as a man. I mean, come on. What insanity is that? And this is what we call as liberal thinking, femininity, sexual liberation, which is all garbage. Y'all did not make even your sexual desire to be as equal as a man. Okay? We desire what we can contain. And when we get it, we should be satisfied. And sometimes it takes a little while to rebuild the need for more. And when it does come, we enjoy it again, right? In the meanwhile, there's other ways, and that's in a healthy relationship. Now, again, I'm not speaking to your sisters that are married per se. I'm just trying to encourage you to open your mind. Don't lock yourself into a monogamy only mindset, and stop blaming your husband and stop blaming yourself. Let's enjoy who Yah has made us and celebrate the differences.
When we are so shut down and pushing it away and have never learned to enjoy it for ourselves. So when your wife tells you this, again, it's just another excuse she's throwing out of why she's not having sex. The fourth myth good men need to know about their wives and sex. Number 4, your wife is like an oven, and she needs to be warmed up and put in the right mood to have sex. And that somehow it's your responsibility to get her in the mood, and you're supposed to just know. Because she'll never really tell you what she needs in order to be warmed up or put in the mood. She wants you to just know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with her again. I'm not saying she's totally wrong, because we do have these kind of, again, brainwashing through media, through movies, that man has to be responsible for a lot of foreplay and putting me in the mood. Again, his only source of having sex is the monogamy only, one woman here, right? So he has to play all these games. And if he's not playing all these games and doing all these magic tricks, I'm not going to be sexually aroused. Now, is it true, my sisters, that it takes us longer to be sexually aroused biologically than a man, generally speaking? I think that it depends on the age of the woman, because I think as we get older, our estrogen drops and we're not as yeah, we're drier. Yeah, and it takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible. But I would think that the biggest turn on is the fact that the man is unique and there are other women. Because like I said before, our hypergamous natures as women is that we adore and we admire what other women adore and admire. And if you think about it, we're always turned on by the hot guy that other women consider the same way. And so in a polygynous relationship, again, that's one of the biggest turn on, is the fact your shepherd, your husband, your man is also desired by the other women in the house. And when he gives you your turn for affection, you are more likely to be ready and receptive of it because the other women want it too. And this is what makes it special. But when it's all yours, you don't know what to do with it. When it's all yours and nobody else's, you don't know how to handle it. And you get this control, and this control can be one of the biggest turn downs. Now, she has two more points to make, and I'm not going to go over her whole show. I'm going to leave it for you. I love that you would follow her. Go ahead and watch the rest. You can leave a comment if you like on her and also on mine. Tell me what you think about the myths that men have to face, and if you agree or disagree. In my opinion, this is a wonderful discussion to have because nobody's talking about the problem being the form of marriage or the limitation of monogamy only, that it's not working for female sexuality. Okay, might continue this. There's more episodes to go cover, especially with her and other psychologists and counselors online that I'd love to debate about that who are female. I don't want to talk to the men really, but we can cover it together, my sisters. It's been a great review watching it with her. Thank you for following me on Call for Wisdom. Please leave a like and subscribe and a comment or a hi. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts with me as we continue exploring polygyny, biblical marriage, wisdom, and different topics pertaining to our lives as Yah-fearing women.